What's up and welcome to the channel. My name is Headshot and thank you guys for joining us. We got a lot of guns on the table. We're not going to be doing a review on all of these guns, but I wanted to get a good representation of a lot of popular guns that are out there on the market right now. And today we're just going to talk about the best gun or best class of guns for at the range. And we're going to choose a couple that I think are the better range guns on this table. Like I said, we're not going to review every one. We're going to hit and miss. We're going to touch different categories of guns so you guys get an idea of what to look for. But what do you want in a good range gun? That's really the focus of this video. We're going to go over a lot. We're going to go over really a few main areas. Capacity, price of ammo and caliber, recoil, size, and how it feels in the hand. That's really the key points we want to go over. And then likeliness to be a good range gun. We're gonna put those on a scale from 1 to 10, 1 being a terrible range gun, 10 being the best range gun that you can possibly get. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's go with the single stacks. Now before we start or get too far into this, revolvers, you know, they can be a good range gun. I know a lot of people use them at the range, self-defense and all that kind of stuff, but you're limited on capacity, and they're just, personally, they're just not my favorite guns. That doesn't mean I hate them, but you know, for at the range, they're not the best. Also 22s, you don't see any 22s on this table, but those are excellent range guns. If you're a new shooter, if you want to shoot cheap and you want to shoot a lot, 22s are a great range gun option. I just don't have any out here to show you guys. So let's go ahead and get started with the single stacks. All right, M&P Shield, excellent concealed carry gun. With single stacks, you're going to be limited in capacity. This one is an 8-round magazine. It's actually not too bad for this size of gun, but capacity is going to be a big one that you're going to be limited on. Price of ammo, this is a 9. Anything in 9, you're going to be able to shoot pretty cheap, you know, considering the other bigger calibers, 9, 40, 45, 357 Sig, whatever you have, this is going to be probably the cheapest option. Normally you can get, you know, aluminum cased ammo, sometimes the Blazer brass ammo, anywhere from $10 to $13 a box, something like that. Pps M2, another single stack, 6 rounds in the magazine. So now you're talking about revolver type of capacity there. Excellent for concealed carry, very thin inside the waistband and all of that, but not the best range choices. Also, whenever you look at the size of the gun, most people are not going to be able to get a pinky on this gun. One thing you have to consider when you're at the range is you want maximum controllability. You want to be able to get good grouping and all of that kind of stuff. And having a gun like this gun is actually it's actually a pretty awesome shooter, to be honest with you guys. But considering at the range you don't have a lot filling up your hand, it's very narrow, just like the Shield. So this gun is not going to be a very good range gun. I would give this one probably a 4 along with the Shield. Now if this is your only gun, the good thing about these single stacks is they are actually very good shooters at the range. Not the most ideal range gun. If it's all you got, it's going to do a good job, but definitely not the best range gun on the market for sure. They feel pretty good in the hand, but again, they don't fill your hand up like some of these other options. And that's really not what those guns are aimed at anyways. So going to the compact, subcompact range, Glock 26, again, another great concealed carry gun, grip on it. And you're not going to have the gun jumping up and around as much as you would a Shield. The heavier a gun is, the less recoil you're generally going to feel. Again, in 9mm, you're going to be able to shoot these very cheaply. They come in 40, just like the Shield does. HK, VP9 SK, we compared these guns not too long back, and this is a fantastic gun for at the range, concealed carry, whatever you want it for. Again, you're going to get 10 rounds in the magazine. The beauty of these guns in this size of range is if you just have this gun for at the range, if you're considering carrying it, and even if it's a nightstand type of gun, this is an all-around good option for all 3 of those things. Again, not the best range gun because there just are better options with more capacity and all of that. But if I had to give these a grade, you'd probably be at around a 6. They're really not that bad, and they shoot amazing. But there are obviously better options out there. Also, between these two guns, as far as the way they feel in the hand, this gun feels absolutely amazing in the hand. Both guns handle recoil very well. You're just limited on capacity and, again, a little bit of size. One thing about the HK VP9 SK, a little bit of a mouthful, but they give you a backup or a range type of magazine. So now you can get all your fingers on the gun, and it's going to be a lot more comfortable for you at the range. So that is an option as well, but there are some better options. Now let's move to the smaller full-size type of guns. You have to be very careful when you're looking at the way the manufacturers kind of label their guns. Glock calls this a compact gun. It's a small full-size to me. Whenever you look at this gun compared to the other full-size type of guns, it's pretty much in that same range. 19 is a soft shooting gun. If you think it has a great trigger, this has an even better trigger, and it is even softer shooting. What a fantastic gun. You're also talking about $1,200, so it's not exactly cheap. 15 round magazines. It's a little bit different in setup. You're going to have a double action pull on that first shot, so it's going to be a little bit longer, but it's pretty smooth. And then on the subsequent shots, single action. And with the X-ray sights that they give you blacked out in the rear, when it comes to a fantastic range gun, it don't get much better than this. They offer these in various calibers. You have the 226, which is a little bit longer. Again, in 9mm. There's a 45 option that's out now. But overall, this gun is built for the range, built for home defense, and it's just a fantastic shooter. I mean, every person that has ever shot this gun absolutely loves it. That single action trigger is, it's just amazing. Capacity is great. Recoil is pretty much non-existent in this gun. Overall size, you can get all your fingers on there. It's very comfortable to shoot. It's a little bit wider of a gun. All right, so if you have really small hands, it might be a little bit of an issue. Sometimes Mrs. Headshot in double action mode will have a little bit of trouble. Even I have to camp my hand just a little bit to get it in double action mode. So that's, you know, just one of those things. But once you get it in single action, man, it is just beautiful. It really is a thing of beauty. Feels great in the hand. Overall likeliness to be a great range gun, I would give this a 10. It's more expensive than most of the guns on the table, but man, that money just pays off in this gun. I love this thing. Great range gun. Absolutely love it. The new M&P from Smith & Wesson. It actually looks like we might go over all these guns, so I hope you guys have some time. It looks to be that way. We're just having a good time with the video, so we're just going to keep rolling through here. The new M&P from Smith & Wesson, 17 rounds in the magazine. This is the highest capacity stock anyways, you know, not considering the 19 and all that, but 17 rounds on tap of 9mm ready to go. This gun, the changes they've made with the new Smith & Wesson are just great in my opinion. As far as price of ammo and caliber, you can get these in 45 now. They have that option, or 9mm, whatever you want to go with. As far as recoil, this gun is a little bit bigger. It's a full-size gun, so it's bigger than pretty much every gun on the table, considering these are pretty much like a small full-size. This is definitely a full-size gun. You have plenty of grip length here, so any size hands can pretty much fit this gun. Shooting the gun at the range, you know, there's really no recoil in 9mm, and that's one thing I love too, is you can take anybody with you, shoot 9mm, and not only shoot at a lower cost, but be able to hit the target and have a good time. Pretty much anybody can do that with a 9. So very good capacity, feels great in the hand. The grip texture and everything they've done with this gun is just great. It really locks into your hand. And just overall, as far as likeliness to be a good range gun, I'd put it right up there with the Glock 19, a 9, if not better. You can get trigger kits, whatever you want to do. That is a great option for at the range. The Sig P320 Rx with the optic. Again, another gun that comes with the optic. This gun, 15 rounds in the magazine, so plenty of capacity there. Calibers, right now on the RX, I believe the 9mm is the only one you can get, but if you want to go with just a regular P320, 9, 40, 357 Sig, 45, whatever you want to go with, the P320 is just a fantastic gun. Great trigger on it. Recoil, not a lot to speak of on the 9mm. Once again, if you go with like a 357 Sig, you're going to get a little bit more punch, that's for sure. I have shot that gun in the compact range, not really compacting in, but 357 Sig, that's a hard-hitting gun, and you feel it in your hands. So just depends on what caliber you go with. Size, great size. Again, I can get all my fingers on there. I feel like most people probably could, unless you have really big hands. But you can change these grip modules too to whatever you like. It's not just a backstrap option like most of the guns out here. You can change the entire grip module. So overall, likeliness to be a great range gun, again, a 9. Probably, yeah, definitely a 9. It's right there in these ranges. What about the Canic? This is, when it comes to compact, small, full-size type of guns, this is going to be the most economical. That and the Smith & Wesson, these are going to be the most budget-friendly range guns out here. And let me tell you, this gun has impressed me so much that it's staying in my collection. Capacity, again, 15 rounds in the magazine if you go with the 9. I believe that's the only version they offer right now. Recoil, it's a little bit heavier, a little bit bulkier of a gun, so you're not going to feel a lot of recoil in your hand, which is great. Size, again, get all your fingers on there. It's a perfect size for at the range. Feels good in the hand. You have your fiber optic sights, which is going to work great for outdoors whenever you're shooting. Plenty of extra features on here. You have your striker indicator right there. A trigger that is just amazing for a striker fired gun. I mean, it really is. Overall likeliness to be a great range gun, this is going to be a 9 as well. So we're going to have a tough choice at the end of this video. What about the FNX 45 Tactical? There is not too many 45s, and as a matter of fact, I don't think there's any 45s that are going to give you 15 rounds of 45 on tap ready to go. Threaded barrel, high night sights, comes pre-drilled so you can put an optic on there once again. Double to single action gun. So just like the 229 Legion, that first shot, let me make sure we're clear, we're definitely clear. That first shot, it's going to be a little bit heavier. This one is not nearly as smooth as the 229. But once you get it in single action, that's where the magic starts to happen. It's a little bit spongier of a trigger compared to the 229. Definitely not as smooth, but it's still a great trigger. Threaded barrel, you can run this suppressed straight from the factory. There's just a lot to love with this gun. Very good capacity. The caliber is hard hitting, yet it doesn't snap like a 40 does. It just kind of pushes you, it lets you know it's there, and it keeps on going. Recoil on this gun is really not that bad, but you have a pretty, hefty gun here. This is a big gun. Size, speaking of that, plenty of room there. For my smaller hands, I mean, there's no issues with that whatsoever. So most people are going to be able to get all hands on this gun. Again, it could be something if you have really small hands, just reaching that trigger on that double action shot. Just something you might want to keep in mind. But feels pretty good in the hand. Likeliness to be a good range gun, I would give this one probably an 8 because the ammo is a little bit more expensive. That could change with almost any of these guns though. The higher you go up in your caliber, the more it's going to be to shoot. So where this 45, it's going to be probably $15 to $18 a box. You're talking about $10 to $13 a box for the 9, and that adds up really quickly whenever you're shooting 200 and 300 rounds per session, which is what we do. So we're also doing videos and things like that, so it's a little bit different, but still, anytime you go up in caliber, you're going to be paying more for that ammo. 40, I want to say, is anywhere from $15 to $17 a box, somewhere in there, maybe a little bit less. Alright, so we've went over quite a bit. What are the main things to take away from this video? First of all, good capacity. You don't want to be reloading while you're at the range. That's one thing that gets very annoying very quickly. You want to have something with good capacity, something that is decent in caliber. You know, whenever you're shooting a lot, it can get very expensive. I like 9mm. That's just me. Again, the higher you go up or the bigger caliber you go with, the more you're going to spend. That's just the way it is. Recoil, most of these guns are actually really decent when it comes to recoil. The single stacks are going to be a little bit more stout. You're going to feel that recoil a little bit more. As you go up in size, you're going to get less and less of that recoil felt back into your hand. So you want a gun that's going to be comfortable to shoot at the range. Your concealed carry gun and your range gun should be totally different, at least the way they shoot and the way they feel in your hand. Going from something like this to this is just night and day. Size, you want to make sure it's something, you know, for me, I'm so used to shooting these smaller guns that it really doesn't mean a whole lot to me, but I do notice whenever I go from something like this or this to something like this, just how much more controllable it really is. So a good range gun, you want to make sure you can get all your hands on there. Just go into a gun shop, a local gun shop, put your hands on some of these and just see what feels really good to you. Size, trigger, triggers are triggers. I mean, you know, Glocks have pretty decent triggers. This has an amazing trigger. The HK has an amazing trigger. The FN isn't bad. The new M&Ps have really great triggers in them. The P320, really great trigger, and the Canic, an even better trigger for a striker fired gun. You know, most newer guns now have pretty decent triggers in them. So you can watch some of our reviews to see how the triggers really, you know, look and all that kind of stuff. But to get one in your hand is where you really start to get a feel for this stuff. As far as feels in the hand, you know, we kind of touched on that. But which one of these guns is the best range gun that we have? So me and Mrs. Heckshot just talked about that. Which one do we feel is the best option for at the range? We both chose the Legion, and Mrs. Heckshot actually threw the VP9 SK in there. So, you know, take it for what it's worth. This is a great shooting gun. It really is. Legion, definitely the P320 Rx. This is an amazing range gun. And even the Canic, TP9 SF Elite. This is a fantastic range gun as well. All of these guns are pretty good, but those are our favorite. I hate leaving the Glock out of anything because it's so hard to argue with 33 rounds, and the gun just shoots really, really well at the range. So it's hard for me to pick just one. I think this is the best one as far as at the range. But like I said, you know, everybody's different. So get some in your hand, take them to the range. If you have one that will rent them out to you, play around with them, see which one you like the best. Let me know what you guys think. If you have one that's on this table that you think is the best, or one that isn't on this table that you think is the best, because there's a lot of great ones out there, leave us a comment down below. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you in the next one. And as always, hold them down.